The Flash is the film that, well, nominally should be the big blockbuster, but apparently is not doing that well at the at the box office for a variety of reasons. Some being the conduct of its star, some being, I personally think, DC and the way they've messed things up over the last 10 years. And all that. But anyway, The Flash. This is the first. It's the Flash, the superhero. It is his first outing on the big screen, I think. And you have this whole thing. This has been advertised largely based off the back of the fact that it has Michael Keaton back in it as Batman and all that kind of stuff. But Sean, tell us a little bit about what this is about. Tell us about what the premise of this is.
Okay, so yeah, this is the Flash. You know, the Flash, he can whiz like so fast that he reckons he's going to be able to turn back time and save his mum.
Yeah.
So because something happens, his mum gets killed. He thinks that he can go fast enough to change the world.
Which way you think about it is a very DC type thing. They do in the original Superman movie.
They do, yeah. He sort of spins the world back the other way.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he goes back in time, but when he goes back in time, he ends up in, I suppose they've copied it from the multiverse, so they call it the metaverse or whatever they call it, you know.
Yes.
So, and he ends up in, and there's all those anomalies like the Terminator films where you're not supposed to, you know, if you meet each other, there's going to be trouble and stuff like that.
Yep. Don't meddle, because if you meddle, you don't know what change you're going to make.
Yeah. So you get medals, and he ends up in this one place, and there's something now going on. He meets the old Batman, Michael Keaton, from the, you know, and you've got like the Batman music and the Batcave and the you know, and he sort of, Batman helps him out with one thing and the other, and then he decides that he can't change time, and so he tries to go back, and he tries to and he goes back, and everything seems right, and then something's not quite right, and then. And then, oh my goodness me!
Don't give away what I think you might give away if I don't stop you.
I'm not going to say nothing. So let's just say it's a Flash movie. He tries to go back to save someone, and he causes havoc basically in many different places.
Yes.
And you've seen it as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I have seen it. I have seen it as well. I mean, the thing is, like, if you've seen a lot of time travel movies, he goes back in, things change, blah blah blah, and I don't think from that point of view, there's a lot of stuff to
talk about. Really.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a lot that's new. No. I don't think that there's a lot that's new here, and the problem is with DC, all the DC characters, Superman, everything like that, Batman. Over the last 10 years, I've gotten really, really cynical about them, because I feel like when you're watching the film, you can see what they are trying to do. You can almost sort of see the accountants in the background thinking, okay, if we do this, okay, maybe this will make it, or maybe this will make us catch up with Marvel. And I feel like you can almost feel that in there, and you can feel that with this. The problem with this film is that they've already announced before this film was released that they are wiping the slate clean. They're starting off a whole new thing. They've just announced that there's a new Superman who's been cast, who I think, very good casting, by the way. But it's like they've announced that there's a new Superman who's been cast. So you know that this film is kind of like the end. And so all they're going to do, this film is at best going to be a fudge. For it's the last thing of a world that no longer exists. But you know they're going to try and use the multiverse to try and say, oh, but here's the new age. And so there's all these cynical things that they do in the film that I find it hard to deal with. And I find it hard to enjoy or get past when I'm watching the movie. I mean, that being said, it is one of the better DC movies. I think that the whole thing when they have, like, you know, the Flash and the two of them bickering with each other, that kind of works for some bits. The fact that you have like an older Barry Allen and a younger Barry Allen, that kind of works. It's good seeing Michael Keaton back, even though they don't really do much with him. And then there's a bit where they try and go back, and it's almost like they try and retcon what has happened in the DC universe in the last 10 years. And they bring Michael Shannon back as General Zod. They try and say something to do with the Superman movie, Man of Steel, and they try and do some timey-wimey stuff in there. I wasn't really interested. I was quite frankly, by the time we got to the end of the film, I was sitting out there going, I could have been hanging out with my family. I could have been hanging out with my family.
Do you know that Ezra Miller, the Flash, he irritated me. He just totally, I could not stand his voice.
Which one?
I could not stand what he was doing.
Which one are the both of them? The both of them?
Yeah, both of them. I don't know. It really, really grated on me. It really annoyed me. I thought, you stupid. I don't like him. I don't like him, Pose. I don't like the Flash. I didn't like him in the Justice League. I think to me, he's not. I mean, in the comics, Barry Allen's like a lawyer and stuff, and a bit more. But
no, he's a crime lab attendant.
Crime lab, yeah. But I don't. I cannot stand the man. I cannot stand the Flash. The Flash, I hate. He's got to be the worst. He's. I know everybody moans about Aquaman, but hey, Flash is my books. The film Flash.
Yeah.
When I think of the Flash, because I haven't seen any of these things, I can't help but thinking of The Boys when you have that super fast.
Oh yeah, A-Train. A-Train,
yeah. A-Train,
doesn't he? And he explodes this person when he runs right through them because he's like completely. And that's what comes through my head when I talk about the Flash. I'm thinking of that.
Yeah, it's very different. It's very, very different.
He's like I don't know, how would you explain him? Like a shy teen, awkward adolescent. He's sort of.
Yeah,
that's the vibe I got.
The ability, that ability to move super fast. It's like, how do you avoid running through someone who's stood at the side of the road?
Well, the way that they do it is then there's a couple of things. Like they've gone for an effect when the Flash is running in these Flash movies and in the Justice League movies. They've gone for this effect of when he's running that I really don't like. I think it's stupid. I mean, the way he runs and everything like that, I think is dumb. Yeah, no, the kind of moving his fingers forward, and it's I really do not like it. I think I kind of, because the whole idea is that it's not just that what they say is that it's not just that he's running fast, is that he's moving so quickly that everything else slows down. So
okay.
So in the Flash, the idea is that everybody is moving so slow that there's no way he would run past somebody, because it would be like, you're 100 meters down the road and you see a tortoise crossing the road. There's no way you're going to hit that tortoise. And that's what it's like for the Flash. So that everybody's moving so slow in comparison to him. And there's just things. Oh my God. Oh, I just remembered. There's scenes in this where there's scenes in this that obviously computer generated. You would expect that in a superhero movie, but it's so bad. But the thing is that it's so bad.
The bit, if you're thinking of the bit that I'm thinking of as well, which is
I think it's the bit where he goes into the Speed Force, and it's the way he travels through time, and he gets to see all these different events that have happened in the film and in other films and everything like that.
God.
And oh my God, oh my God. It's hideous. The graphics it looks like a cutscene. I'm not sure if you guys know what that is, like in video games. So you play a level in a video game, and you have a bit where there's people who talk in the middle of it, and it has all these sort of shonky graphics. But it looks like a cutscene, but not even from today. It looks like a cutscene from the early 2000s. It's just, but the thing about it is that you feel like that was what they were going for, and I'm like, why? Why were you going for that? That's just so bad. That just looks horrible. So yeah, and I just there were some things I liked about it. There were some things I'm not as annoyed about Ezra Miller's performance as you are. I thought some things worked.
It grated on me a lot.
But no. For me, it was more the storyline that I was like, there's a whole bit about how the Flash gets his powers, and the way you do it, you're like, hang on a second, if you could do it that easily, why didn't you just go and make a whole bunch more Flashes?
Yeah.
If you could do it that easily, why didn't you just go throwing like chemicals on people and then zapping them? If it's that simple. So the film annoyed me. It made me think I could be spending time with my family. I do not know why I'm here, and it's. Oh, and there's a bit at the end of the film. So I'm just looking through, because my cousin Taiwo, who corresponds with the show every now and then, he sent me something about The Flash, because he gets to go out of the house every now and then from his family and go watch a film. And he was kind of like, why is this tanking so much? It's like, this film isn't that, like, he just yeah. I'll read this out later, maybe next week, because I think I just flashed in my room for a while. But there's a bit towards the end of this film where they try and do. Like, okay, we spoke about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse a couple of weeks ago, and about how Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse seems to have these things where it has, like, your whole wham bang thank you ma'am stuff, but then it has these moments where it's actually kind of emotional, and you get to, like, this point where it says, oh, this means something for what Spider-Man has been over the last while, and what Spider-Man has meant to everybody. And there's a bit in this film where they try and do that, and it's almost as if they try and redeem the DC universe by saying, oh, look what we've done. And Sean, you and I complain about the moment in Avengers Endgame where they try and say, look at how many women we have, and how that moment sticks out. This moment is worse. It is so much worse. And it's like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here, but that's the problem. I see what you're trying to do. I'm not feeling it. It's not coming across as emotional. It's not running. And crucially, this is not a Superman film. So that's all I would say about that moment. But that
bit you're talking about was oh my God. I'm just thinking about now. I've got a visual picture of that. The one that just say Superman.
What's happened? I was like, no. I am out. I'm out. And I think this film probably had enough that annoyed me. There were some things I actually quite liked, and I would think if I was going to rate this, it just about squeaks a 3 from me.
Yeah, for me, probably the same. I mean, I did like Michael Keaton. I did like the Michael Keaton, but even though
it was good seeing Michael Keaton as an older Batman.
Yeah. I quite like that part. I quite liked that little section of it, which was maybe a saving grace. But I think what Sharon was saying about running through people, that the best I've ever seen of someone really fast was Quicksilver in the X-Men films.
In X-Men Days of Future Past. Yeah,
that's the way to do it. Because there you can actually see with, and I would have liked to have seen some of that. Anyway.
The problem with it is that Quicksilver did it so well that it did it so well that you go, okay, that is the way to do it. But now nobody else can do it. So, so that is the way to, but not, because if you go and do it, people are just going to be like, oh, they're just copying what they did in X-Men Days of Future Past. Yeah. It's like, and that's why I think when they had Quicksilver in Avengers Age of Ultron, they didn't even bother trying to do that. No. They didn't even bother because it was like, sorry, that is even they tried to do it in the next X-Men movie, and you were like, oh, come on, you guys did this already in the last, and it's just one of those things like, and they try and do something similar with babies, hospitals, and a microwave at the beginning of this film. Yeah, they try to do something. Yeah, Sharon's face. Yeah, Sharon's face.
Yeah.
They try to do something. There's a scene that has to do with babies, hospitals, and a microwave, and it's
and
they try to do something similar.
Building.
And I would say well done to them for trying that, because I know that I think it's a problem if you have a film with a speedster. X-Men Days of Future Past is there, and you can't just copy that, but at the same time, you've got to do something. So that was actually a scene in which I was like, okay, they've done something there. Cool. It's not Days of Future Past, but hey. The next best one is probably Sonic, but never mind, Sonic the Hedgehog. Okay, let us go away from The Flash. And very soon we'll see what's going to happen with DC, with our new Superman and Lois Lane, David Cornswit, and Rachel Brosnahan. I believe that's how you pronounce it.